zero, and liftoff.
Welcome to Mission Control, Peralta Design's podcast on all things branding and digital marketing. Since 2008, Peralta Design has launched hundreds of brands with award-winning identities and websites. Join our hosts Ramon and Jorge as they use decades of combined experience to tackle topics with past clients, industry partners, and the rest of the PD crew. At Peralta Design, we launch brands. But for now, let's launch right into this episode of Mission Control.
Welcome to Mission Control, where we respect the grind and reclaim the American dream. I'm your host, Ramon Peralta from Peralta Design, and we launch brands. I'm very excited today. We have a very special guest. He's my GNMSDC MBEIC co-chair, and we'll get into what all that means later. He's the leader of a premier minority-owned global staffing agency that services clients all over the world. Please join me in welcoming the Panther Group CEO, Cogdell.
Thank you, Ramon. Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Welcome, man. This is a true honor to have you, and I'm going to get this out of the way right up front. You know, you would have made a heck of an alpha man. I just want to tell you that.
Oh, Omega was my calling. No, Omega was my call.
Hey, listen, I hear you, man. I hear you. We're black and gold. You're the purple and gold. So
yes. Panhell, it's all good, right?
It's all good. We're all trying to do the same thing.
Yes, indeed.
We're all marching towards the light and trying to help others. So I'm really glad to have you on here. Tell us your backstory, man. Tell us, how you came to be, your background. You can go as far back as you want, but we really want to get down to who Sion is, and I want you to cover where that pronunciation comes from as well.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's a tremendous honor to be here, Ramon. I think you're doing great things, and the guests that you've had on in the past, I'm honored to be a part of that list. As for the name, Sion Cogdell. My name and pronunciation come from my dad, originally from North Carolina. He was a big Errol Flynn fan, swashbuckler movie star. Errol Flynn actually had a son named Sean, who was a photojournalist, actually was killed during the Vietnam War as he was filming. But my dad would argue that the phonetic pronunciation of Sean, which is how you spell my name, is Sion. And at dinner parties, my mom would tell me stories about him actually arguing with folks. So, I've had difficulty with it all my life. Yeah, really funny. He was quite the character. But I've had difficulty with all my life. And when I meet people, I tell them it's pronounced like Leon with an S. Sion. Yeah. So that's the backstory on the name.
Now, what about the backstory on the man?
Well, yeah, born and raised in Connecticut, educated in Connecticut, moved into New York City, probably early 20s, began my professional career really down there, attended grad school down there, did the whole CPA firm, large multinational corporation route, did a number of years working with not-for-profit agencies in the Bronx, some of the most rewarding work I've done. Some work with the governmental agencies. My background primarily is accounting and finance, then delved into operations. A little bit about me.
Yeah, and what about as a kid? What did you discover? You had a gift for math, and that's how you got into accounting?
It's funny. No, I actually, you're either artistic or academic, as the saying goes, right? I actually think I'm a little bit more artistic, but I'm in my undergraduate degree is from Central Connecticut State University, and I'm sitting in it was a ballroom for the placement exams, mathematics and English. And the paperwork went around to select your major. I was an undeclared major at the time. And I said, well, I wanted to make money. The goal was making as much money as you can, as fast as you can. And I said, okay, so I went to the business category, business degrees. And the first degree was accounting, A for accounting. So I checked accounting. And I remember going home and talking to my mom. I said, Mom, I selected accounting as a major. She said, you as an accountant? Right? She couldn't even believe it. Well, Ramon, really one of the best decisions I could have made. Just helped me with structure and organization and discipline with business throughout my business career. Yeah,
absolutely. Now, was budgeting and financial literacy kind of stressed in the home when you were growing up that you kind of,
Yeah, to I would say a rather large extent. Again, a struggling Black
yeah,
family.
yeah.
Parents working, single mom. Working to make ends meet.
Mm.
My dad passed away a week after I turned 16. Excuse me.
Oh, wow.
So it was tough for us. Household of seven, but we are extremely close. I never felt I really wanted anything. I think my mom did a tremendous job managing the household finances. After my dad passed away. But yeah, maybe innately
Mm.
or through the experiences I had uh, growing up, finances and budgeting was very important. Cash flow,
Yeah.
very important. All concepts that I utilize today.
Right. No, absolutely. And was college always there as a goal, or in your family?
Yeah, so that was really the logical next step. My mom was
Yeah.
actually enrolled, and she's originally from South Carolina. So
Okay.
South Carolina State College it was at the time,
Mm.
going into the teaching profession. Actually got pregnant though the summer between after her senior year, going into her freshman year in college, and at those times decided to have her child and start a family, as opposed to going to college, but always instilled it in all of us.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Mhm.
And I wonder the same thing. As being the oldest of five, I always wonder how my parents did it, and I think what drives me is just knowing that we, not to squander the sacrifices, that
Exactly.
they made, and
Yes.
I can tell that, and giving back the work you did in the Bronx, right? Sounds like,
Ramon, extremely rewarding. So we provided housing for individuals with mental retardation and challenges,
okay,
but also mentally ill chemical abusers. We would go into the New York City homeless shelter system and provide housing and services for individuals. So we built a number of SRO, single room occupancy buildings
mhm,
that house 40, 50, and 40 units or individuals. So we're able to provide housing and services for a number of these individuals,
mhm.
jobs, job placement training, a number of services. Very, very rewarding part of
Yeah,
my life.
I mean, it's a ministry. It sounds like.
Hmm.
Now, how did you pivot from that towards total technical services? Like, when did the entrepreneur bug hit?
So probably was always there, but you're afraid
Yeah,
to take the leap, put your toe in
yeah,
the water, and that sort of thing. So I've had
yeah.
a number of ventures over the years. I've owned a coffee shop in the past. I've had a nightclub, a small technology firm, and they were all successful. Actually, a few of them I did sell, but the shift really came to me with, well, going into the not-for-profit. I was working at a CPA firm down on Wall Street, and they were an audit client, and the manager responsible for that job was out on vacation, and the managing partner on that client asked me to fill in for him. So I was there for a week. Ramon, the executive director, was an Omega man. Had no idea. So the automatic connection, right? The immediate connection. Just became friends. Fraternal, but also very close friends. He was one of the mentors, instrumental in my life. I met him I was probably 26 years old when we first met. He recently passed away, July of this past year. 80 years old, just natural causes, just age, but a tremendous force and inspiration and a factor in my life professionally. So remain friends. He actually convinced me or sold me on working at the agency in the Bronx. He was the executive director of the agency. And again, my pursuit was making as much money as I could, as quickly as I could, but just the feel of the place, the interaction with the individuals, it is a higher calling, and again so rewarding. Nothing like I have experienced professionally that is personally rewarding. But from there, so worked at that a number of years. Actually slotted to become the executive director there, and he has a daughter who had no interest in the business at the time. She's several years younger than I am, but then gained an interest in the
Okay,
business. So that was his succession plan, which I understood.
right.
I got it. Then I opted to go back to graduate school. I was just a CPA at the time, an undergraduate degree in accounting and a CPA. So let me go back to grad school, kind of figure all this out, finished a graduate degree, and then went on to corporate America. Really, really had a pretty good trajectory
Right.
with corporations. But then that wasn't fulfilling. Coming from human services, very fulfilling, into corporate America, where shareholder maximization was the goal there, right? Maximize profits, so you maximize shareholder benefits, and that's not really affecting a life in a positive way. So I said, I really think I need to do more. At that time, my predecessor, who was a college buddy of mine, was working at a staffing agency in Boston. And I remember the phone call. He said he was a recruiter and wanted to get into sales. And his manager, or the manager of the sales area, said to him, a black man could never sell in Boston. And he did not even consider him for a sales position at that point in time. He was steaming, needless to say. Immediately quit and opened up TTS. My role at that point was, with my accounting and corporate background, I helped them with the entire back office, the infrastructure, the accounting, finance, computer systems, all this technology. Linked him up with funding sources and that sort of thing, because he was more of a salesman, right? He would get out and sell. Worked with him really through probably first 15 years of the Panther Group. He then, unfortunately, several years ago, contracted glioblastoma. So I'm sort of moving on. Yeah, terminal brain cancer, and passed away. At that point, we acquired Panther Group from him when he was diagnosed with glioblastoma. He attempted to sell. He wanted to sell the business prior to passing away. Had a buyer, it fell through, and I really wasn't interested in the operation at that point in time, to be honest. The buy had a buyer, fell through, and he called me. Said, "Look, it fell through. Any interest at all?" And I said, I knew a lot of the players, a number of the staff that had worked with him. I had become very close with a number of them. My partner Tim now, very close with him. I'd known him 20 years prior to working with him. Put together an offer for him and acquired Panther. So I've been a chief executive officer since March of 2016.
Yeah, that was an amazing story there, because I'm really fascinated with brand evolution and scaling and growing, and it just is really a testament to that no two processes or no two paths are exactly the same, because there was a unique set of circumstances there. You were already familiar with the back end, and you find yourself in a position to acquire the company. And I think it probably meant a whole lot to your partner to know that what he had built was going into your hands.
It truly did, and that's an excellent point. A lot of people don't realize that we were close. He was actually, so freshman year in college, I was dropped off by my mom and girlfriend at the time, and went to lunch, had some placement exams. When I selected accounting, my mom couldn't believe it. That evening, we go to dinner. The morning I wake up, we had some more seminars that morning, breakfast, had lunch. I'm going back to the dorm, and I hear Shalimar blasting out of a door. So I go, make that move. Make that move right now, baby.
Make that move. All
That's
right, now, baby.
That's it. That's
not a singer, but
sounded pretty good to me. That's it. I went in and introduced myself, and we've been friends ever since. So my freshman year in college and his sophomore year, been friends ever since. So he's the first person I met on campus. Very close. I'm the godfather to his daughter.
Wow.
I know his wife very well. When they met, in his wedding, I think he was very happy that his legacy was continued.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I mean, he your brothers, in effect, it stayed in the family. It remained in the family.
Indeed.
Now it's in 1994. You went from IT into accounting and then clerical. So it seems like a period where more verticals were brought in. And my question that I think a lot of our audience would get a lot out of is, was it customer demand, or did you guys strategically see opportunities in certain verticals and you decided to go into it?
So actually both. So the expansion into IT, accounting, and clerical services was just for that reason, existing client demand.
Okay.
We were performing well with our clients, we think, over the years, but then they began to query us to see if we provided temp labor in other areas outside of engineering, because that was our start in engineering. We ran with the opportunity. We started small. We were very aggressive, though, in trying to meet our clients' needs and the quality of our temp labor. We hired additional internal resources. and saw modest but solid growth year over year. From there, we saw the opportunity to penetrate additional verticals. We were performing well in engineering, accounting, finance, and clerical, but saw more opportunity to grow IT. Additionally, we saw opportunity to grow in industries that we hadn't penetrated in healthcare, pharmaceuticals, life sciences, academia, and the federal government. We added business development to our operating model. Prior to that, we just had recruiters and client relationship managers. Our recruiters would recruit for our talent. Our client relationship managers would manage the existing relationships, but nobody selling. So now we added biz dev to our operating model to really try to get out and sell and grow the business. I would say the driving force um, really assisting our growth and helping us to strategically focus was the competitive intelligence we began to gather and determined that there was a lot of opportunity to grow within certain geographic markets that we had already penetrated because we would put a brick and mortar wherever a large client existed, generally in major cities, in Dallas, in Atlanta. We were in Baltimore, out in Los Angeles, California. We were up in Sacramento. We were in Chicago, just DC. We're in Baltimore and DC. There was that much business there where we tried to attack the federal government contracts. And that really helped us. We formalized our business strategy and goals and objectives after that with our focus, our new strategic focus, and just went after it. Yeah, we went after it.
Now, putting those brick and mortars, I mean, especially now during this climate, do you feel that that was more to better service the clients, or was it to show the competition that you guys were in town, or you know?
Great question. Great question. The primary purpose was to service the client. It was, and pre-COVID, right? Even 2019, a lot of clients required a lot of face time.
Okay.
Right? They couldn't see where you can work from anywhere, where you can do it remotely. Ramon, we have been pushing that for years, pushing it for years. So probably the last 3 to 4 years, our model has been, we've contracted a lot. We don't have the brick and mortars, lease costs are down, meaning profits are up, right? We've been able to control our costs in that way. Still with being able to service our clients wherever they are. We fly out, we see them. And if you provide, we found that if you provide a certain level of service, then they're okay. Right, you're okay. If there are queries, you have to respond to them. If there are phone calls, you have to follow up. You may have to jump on a plane and fly out to the client, right, to really service the account. If that's what it took, then that's what we did. But we really showed them that with the quality of our temp labor and the certain level of service delivery we provided internally with our client relationship managers, our recruiters, and our biz dev teams, that we could service them from wherever we were. And a lot of them began to embrace the model.
Right.
Yeah.
So my next question had to do with how has COVID impacted business for the Panther Group?
So we took an immediate hit with COVID, really, and that was a function of many clients did not provide nor allow temporary labor to work remotely, right? So they didn't have the infrastructure laid, the technology, and it was more of a micromanagement situation with the temp labor. That was in probably the first 2 to 3 months right after COVID hit. So March, April, into May, we were talking to our clients. Listen, you still have operations to run. You still have processes to complete, things to get done. We feel this model works. Our staff have been doing it internally. We've been working with you that way for a number of years now. They then began to embrace it, right? They did need the work to get done. Ramon, to hire staff was incredibly difficult, and many states had the different, COVID-19 pandemic related guidelines on number of, what do I want to say? You are editing this, right? The CDC guidelines on essential workers. Right. We weren't considered essential workers. Certain industries, so we have a secret security clearance where we do a lot of work with the Department of Defense. Those individuals were considered essential workers, but a number of individual accounting, finance, at smaller engineering firms up in New Hampshire, for example, aren't considered, if they're not working on a government contract, are not considered essential workers. Therefore, they could not report to work in many instances, and it varied from state to state. So we had to stay on top of the state laws as well as CDC guidelines on where people can report to work. Employers began to realize, our clients begin to realize, look, we still need to get this done. We have to figure out how we can get the work done, not at the work site. So they actually, we provided them a lot of information on how to build their infrastructure out with IT, to allow our temporary workers or other clients' temporary workers to work remotely, so their business continued. And then they began embracing it. But oddly enough, what has gone unreported was there was a laptop shortage for several months
Wow.
because so many companies were trying to purchase laptops to go remote.
Mhm.
And then the technology, and if you follow the markets, technology stocks have been booming because people were what do you say, necessity is the mother of invention.
Right.
Really right, really pushed technology firms to come up with some really creative and
Yeah.
innovative technology solutions.
Right.
So our clients began to embrace it. So June, July, August, we saw the turn. We're probably down 10% 2019 versus 2020, because we caught up in the fourth quarter of 2020. 2021, we're back on our growth trajectory. Yeah,
Hmm.
we see where the marketplace, generally speaking, industry has adjusted to the restrictions of COVID, as
Hmm.
well as the economy loosening up, and where we're performing well now.
Good. Good. Now, is there anything that was born during this tough time that's, as far as like a new approach to how you conduct your business that you feel is gonna stay even beyond, post COVID?
That really sticks. Yeah, yeah, I would say that. Well, we were we had the ability to work from anywhere prior to COVID, but now we're back in the office 1 day per week. We'll
Mhm.
we'll, we'll have a hybrid model in terms of reporting to the office from here forward.
Yeah.
We're in the office 1 day a week because we do have a need to collaborate. Just
Mhm.
certain tools and trainings, especially with new staff,
Yeah.
that it's difficult to do remotely. We
Right.
do have a component of that remotely, but we need it live. So we're in the office 1 day a week and work from anywhere 4 days a week.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be home. It can be Florida, right? It can be wherever you want to be, but as long as you're plugged in and getting it done, it doesn't matter to us.
Yeah.
Um, the office is open for staff to work, the other 4 days in the office if they need to, if they don't have the arrangements at home, proper arrangements. But we've outfitted all our staff with dual monitors, desks, if they have the accommodations, desk chairs, everything they need to be comfortable at home or wherever they are working from to work comfortably and be productive. So our model has changed where we're not requiring 5 days a week in the office anymore.
Okay, that's great. Now, what about your clients? Are they aligned with that? Are you seeing any different shifts with some of your clients and their business models?
Yes. So certain ones, again, require a lot of manufacturers in the engineering space, require, machinists and individuals on shop floors. But many have embraced a hybrid model as well, Ramon, where they're allowing their staff to work remotely, and by extension, allowing all of our temp labor to work remotely as well. So no, it hasn't been an issue.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Now, I want to get to a few other things here. Um, I follow you on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
You've been putting out a lot of content, and I'm a big believer in CEO as brand. For Panther. What's been your content strategy?
So really, I just try to be very active, right? I
Mhm.
believe that traction creates business opportunities.
Mhm.
As others see Panther, and gain an understanding of who we are, how we operate, and what is important to us. The goal is this messaging appeals to prospective clients and contractors, and business opportunity and relationships develop. So I just try to remain as active as we can, so people become familiar with us, our brand, who we are, what we do, what we believe in. Um, uh, and relationships have developed, so inbound marketing was important to us. We One staff member mentioned that we're the best kept secret in staffing. What, backhanded compliment. Great,
Exactly.
great
You
to
don't
hear.
want that. You don't
No,
want that.
heck no. As a business, who wants to be a secret, right? Right. So it's like we need to get this brand out there. So we have a saying, one of my corny sayings in the office all the time. I we always say Coke, Kleenex, Panther, right? Coke is a brand. but it's referred to as soda. Kleenex is a tissue, but people refer to the brand. The brand is synonymous with the product. We want Panther to be synonymous with temp labor, temp staffing, perm staffing. When you think of staff or human capital, you think of Panther. So our goal, our vision is really to be to have Panther synonymous with staffing.
Right. Be top of mind, be on the radar.
That's it. That's it.
Absolutely. Tell us about Panther Cares, because that really stood out to me, and and I definitely see how it connects back to what you were doing before Panther. Tell us about what it is, and what impact has it made in the community, and what impact has it made for your business.
So Panther Cares really is our opportunity to give back in many ways. Panthers volunteer time and resources to a myriad of community-based organizations and causes. Our staff, for example, nominate a charity of the year that all Panthers we vote on, and the company donates either time and or resources. Usually we give them financial resources to the cause. Last year was a tough year for many charities. So we had 7 nominations, and I'm very happy that we were able to actually select all 7 charities and donate to all of them. It was a tough year, right, for donations and that sort of thing. So we give back. We feel it's important to give back. Feel it's important to give back to the communities that you work in, that you live in. That we're also helping bridge the gap, right? So for young individuals who maybe can't see how they can get to where you or I are, Ramon, that they can see that we're touchable and feelable, and there are routes and paths to get there. So it's just very, very rewarding. We really don't look for any type of accolades or anything coming back to us, just the humbling feeling, great feelings we get by contributing back to communities and community-based organizations.
Yeah, and I mean, there's stats out there. I mean, I think 80% of millennials in the workforce, they want to work someplace that's making an impact in the community.
Indeed.
That's super important to them, and I'm sure that your employees feel good about being involved with Panther Cares, and that's a big part of your culture.
Yes, and they bring a lot of ideas to us, Ramon, quite frankly,
Yeah.
on different organizations that are seeking donations or seeking, resources or volunteer help, that we participate in.
Yeah. All right. So here, what makes Sion happy?
What makes besides a fat bank account? No, I'm just kidding. And my wife and sons, right? My wife and
Right.
sons, right, right, right. To me, one key to life is having a positive effect on another's life, right?
Yes.
So no matter how small, truly, when I'm able to do that, maybe by helping a candidate land a job that they may not have been able to do otherwise, or donating time through Panther Cares, it truly makes me happy. I think giving back is very, very rewarding for me.
Yeah. Awesome. And that's a great answer. I think we're all, you know, I know for me personally that I feel like I've had so many good breaks in my life, that I think someone once said service was the rent we pay to
Yes.
be here. So we want to leave the world better than we found it, and I think you're certainly doing that. If you had a crystal ball for Panther Group, what would it look like? What's the future? Are you thinking succession, or are you thinking that you're still on a trajectory to continue growing the company?
I do think we're on a trajectory to continue to grow the company, but we have been actually. It's a great question. Succession planning now. I don't think you can do that too early in the process, right?
Right.
You don't have to implement it, right, or initiate it, but you do want to have a clear succession plan. So we've been working on that. Ideally for me personally, we blow Panther up even more than we are, and we have some capable suitors to come in and acquire it, or family members, or close friends. Again, similar to continuing Kelvin's legacy, being able to continue our legacies on. That would be ideal. But I see, if I had a crystal ball, I see all our efforts, yours and mine and others, again, affecting a life in a positive way. I think that Panther. Look, Ramon, we have individuals who, probably 65% of our workforce. We employ on average 1,000 contractors per week, in jobs. About 65% of those are people of color, right? Black of all different ethnicities, our Latinx community, our Asian community, and Indian communities. Um, and a lot of our folks, have a difficult time landing positions, don't know where to turn or where to start. We talk a lot about the racial wealth gap, and sure, this is a small contribution in reducing that, but it's providing jobs and decent paying jobs to individuals who might not otherwise have those opportunities.
Right.
We've had a number of individuals with us for a number of years, got them back in school, and their trajectory is great, and the future is bright, and that is really rewarding. So if I had a crystal ball, it would be to do a lot more of that,
Mhm.
right, to really help folks, to keep our clients happy. Absolutely, positively, that's a part of it. But really affecting those lives in a positive way,
Yeah,
however small it may be.
yeah, you're changing lives, and impacting generations, with these
Mhm.
opportunities. I did promise our listeners I would define those acronyms. So GNMSDC is the Greater New England Minority Supplier Development Council. MBEIC is Minority Business and Enterprise Input Committee, and I'm honored to be co-chairing that with you. And I look forward to working with you to help other MBEs, other minority businesses throughout New England, and working with Carlton, Carlton O'Neill and at Lightspeed, and working with him on a national level. I think we have a unique opportunity having him being local to us in New England
Yes,
and
yes,
serving
indeed.
serving in that capacity. So that it would be our loss if we did not
Mhm.
utilize that, capitalize that, and work with him on that, and Peter at the helm of GNMSDC. So I'm really excited about that, working with you on that. And just want to thank you for joining us today. And before we close, because I know you're a busy guy, but can you give our listeners a sense of what an ideal client sounds like, looks like, and how our listeners may be able to reach you or contact you to help steer some additional business, or folks that need jobs. Maybe they
Mhm.
they can connect with you and
Mhm.
Panther, and be
Mhm.
part of that talent pool.
Okay. First, I'd like to say, Ramon, it is an honor to serve with you as a co-chair of the MBEIC as well. I think you bring a certain dynamism that is really needed, a level of professionalism, a level of competence. You're sharp, you're approachable, you know business. It's what we needed. So thank you
Thank
for
you. Keep
joining me
going.
in those
Keep going.
efforts. Thank you for joining me in those efforts. And I'll tell you who you address that check to, and where you send where you mail that baby. But sincerely,
Thank you. Thank you.
a true honor to have you.
Thank
I
you.
think we'll do some great things with the GNE, and it is terrific to have Carlton as our national chair,
Mhm.
being a local presence here in Connecticut. And thanks for having me an opportunity to share what Panther is all about. I guess in summary, we provide permanent and temporary staffing and workforce solutions to industry, academia, and governmental agencies. We're on the web. So just Google thepanthergroup.com or the Panther Group, or put in Panther, you'll find us. There we have client facing information, we have candidate facing information. You can send us queries through that. All of our staff have email contact information on our sites. Please go on there if you find a job or something you're interested in, apply to it, or just send us your resume. If you're a client and looking for us to assist you with some talent shortages or staff augmentation projects you're working on, please reach out. We'll respond usually within the same business day, and in no case in more than 24 hours to all our website queries. You can call our office 781-373-6020 anytime. We're there live, receptionist answering phones, and we'll triage you to the right person. Um, at the Panther Group, we're experts in human capital. We want to earn your business and trust as a client, and to provide employment opportunities for all. And I'd just like to say thank you, Ramon and team, for having me.
Hey, thank you, Sion. It's been a lot of fun, and I love to have you back, and I look forward to working with you. So thank you.
Indeed. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of Mission Control. Until next time, this is Ramon Peralta from Peralta Design, and we launch brands.
Thank you for taking this journey with us. To learn more about Peralta Design and our work, go to www.peraltadesign.com and subscribe to keep up with the crew.